Hi, everybody. Good evening. This is attorney Brooke Goff. Bacon sips are back. Well, it's dessert and sip, right, Kylie? What'd you call this? Dinner and dessert, excuse me. There's so much going on in our world. We've partnered with More Italian Pasta Lab right here in West Hartford. So it's funny because I tend to go to the center a lot. But there's so many, there's just so many stores all through. So it's right next to Cook Shop Plus, which is perfect. But you don't really need any of that stuff to cook it because they make it so easy. No, I'm not getting paid for this. Yes, I buy my pasta from there, but I think it's so great to be able to have a local business benefit, especially when they make really awesome food. So you go in, it's a perfect grab and go. I'm surprised the lines aren't longer when I go in. The food is amazing. They make everything homemade, all the pasta's homemade. And the owner's from Italy, so I mean, if you want the Italian experience and you want to eat the pasta and the sauces and all that good stuff, they have all different stuff every day. So some days they have cacio e pepe, which is one of my favorites. Unfortunately, these days I can't stomach it, but in what, 6 months? What do I have left? 5 months to go? I'll be able to stomach that again. And but today, and I'm not great with the names of pastas, that's the thing, but they have all kinds of different pastas and they're all hand cut and they're done. So obviously we all know what these are. These are raviolis, right? So check these out. I mean, they don't get fresher than this, and you can freeze them, but they still have all the flour on it. It's great. They're delicious. They make different fillings. They have cheese. They have spinach and cheese. They have all kinds of, it depends on the day you go in. So, and if you want something in particular, I'm sure the owner will help. You just tell them in advance notice and they'll make it. I wanted cacio e pepe, and she made it. So it was great. Different kind of pasta here. I mean, it's just perfect. It's the kind of stuff that, and I got to tell you, and I know she's probably going to laugh if she hears me say this, it doesn't feel like when you pour it out of the box. Like, it feels fresh. Like, even, pasta, obviously, guys, is not always supposed to be soft, depending on what it is. This feels fresh. I mean, you can hear it, but it just feels really good. It feels fresh, and it's all flour. It's great. So tonight, what I recommend you have with these cookies, and trust me, it's a great recommendation, so everybody should go. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's going to be beautiful. Everybody should make this for one of the nights, if you have family coming, if you're by yourself, whatever the case might be. My raspberry cookies. So guys, here's the deal, right? We will pick winners for mixers for other things. I have you guys all saw the announcement, right? Clearly, it's no big secret. I'm pregnant, so that's why I have not been drinking wine with you all. And why I can now drink my ginger ale to the extent I can out of a can instead of putting it in a wine glass and having you guys think, okay, well, maybe she's drinking something non-alcoholic. I don't know what it is. That's why I have not been drinking wine indulgent. But I still am going to make recommendations for you guys because I know my wines and they're delicious. But this is such a good recipe to make. But the problem is that when you guys send me in some recipes, now my biggest problem with the pregnancy has been food aversions. I had nausea the first trimester. I came out of that. The food aversions are awful. So, for instance, I had to turn the page of this cookbook, which is just for show, to something I could actually look at that, I didn't make me want to, be sick. So, again, I'm getting through. Actually, it's been great for my clients because I'm yelling at all the adjusters demanding money. It's fantastic. My clients love it, but it's never been more successful. But you have to understand, if you guys send me in some recipes and I don't see something that I can really stomach, I'm going to make one of mine, then we're going to do something else to give away a mixer. Right, Kylie? We'll do something. Send us recipes, make our cookies, and send them. We'll do some taste testing. We're going to do all kinds of fun stuff, okay? So tonight's raspberry cookies. I don't know. This child loves fruit, okay? So blueberries, raspberries, mango, you name it, watermelon. I have probably consumed more fruit in the last 4 months than I have consumed cumulatively in my life. I can't stop eating fruit. Raspberries are number one on my list. Raspberry jam, even better, okay? I can't consume enough of it. So the thought of a almond raspberry cookie is just unbelievable. And it's got vanilla and almond. It's just got all the right things. So you're gonna, these are actually super easy to make too, and they're delicious. Kylie tried one. How good are they? So good. And they paired really great. So eat the pasta. So, and they also have the really fancy. The prices aren't bad. They have super fancy cheeses too, like the real cheese, like the one where you really put on your pasta the right way, not like the Kraft shake it on or the Stella like shaved prime. That's not the real stuff. If you have to chew it, it's not good. This is the real stuff. See, because you don't have to chew it. This is the real stuff, and it's super delicious. This is the pasta. So the pasta that they had for today was, what is the name of the actual pasta? Do you remember the shape? Again, guys, I'm super bad with the types of pasta, but it's a really great one. It's a softer pasta. It's like a thicker fettuccine is what it is. And it comes, so you can choose your sauce. This is an organic butter and sage. The pasta cooks in like 3 minutes, right? 3 minutes, 6 minutes, and then you put this in it, you mix it in, you have dinner in 10 minutes. And it tastes awesome. Take some parm, you're gonna throw the parm on, and you're good to go. Okay, so first you're gonna do all that action. You're gonna serve your family. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, you're gonna take full credit. I'm sure more Pasta Lab won't care. You're gonna take full credit and say, can you believe what I've like made by hand, all by myself? They'll be like, your family will be thrilled. And then you're gonna be like, and to follow it up, I have these awesome raspberry cookies that Attorney Goff made on air and recommends. And then when I'm doing this, I'm gonna talk about DUIs. Yeah, so talk about food aversions. I also have DUI aversions these days too. So we're gonna talk about DUIs. It's Memorial Day weekend. We see tons of them. I've never seen so many drunk driving cases ever. I get them weekly at this point, and I don't get it. And it's people that have had a DUI before or two. I mean, like, listen, I'm not suggesting, like, nobody gets a pass. If you hurt somebody and you decide to drink and drive, you're gonna have to deal with me. But I mean, like, you'd think the first time, if you don't hurt somebody, maybe you hurt yourself, you get through it, you'd be so scared. I mean, these people don't care. They're just like, oh, maybe I got away with it the first time, I can do it the second time. So we're gonna talk about why that's not a good plan and about how I go about taking your assets and not feeling bad about it, okay? All right, so first, for the raspberry cookies, we're gonna preheat the oven to 350, jumbo muffin pan. So you can get these, you ready? Amazon, but Crate and Barrel. I love these things, okay? Williams-Sonoma too. You need a jumbo one because of how the cookies, this settle. So you're gonna spray the jumbo pan with a baking spray. I always recommend, Pam, guys, I don't recommend using the pan baking. It leaves a stain in the pan always, but it also leaves this weird, like, almost like filmy flavor on the cookies. I'm telling you, I've tried it 100 times. Like, I can't get behind the pan baking. Just use the regular pan. The yellow one, not the olive oil. Guys, you gotta remember, this is the pan I recommend. When you use the olive oil pan, everything's gonna taste like olive oil. It does. So I made the mistake one time. I was like, oh, Pam, olive oil sounds kind of good. I used pan for my eggs. Sprayed the pan, put the eggs in. I'm like, these eggs taste not so great. And then I realized it's the Pam olive oil. Guys, you want to taste olive oil, the avocado oils, that's what you're going to taste. Just use the regular Pam when you bake, okay? The baking Pam does not taste good. And I say this before pregnancy, not during. It does not taste good. It leaves this weird film on the cookie. That's all I can really say. Okay, you're going to grease. So you're gonna spray it with baking spray, or you can flour the wells. Flouring the wells it's complicated. It leaves flour on the cookies. I don't love picking up a cookie with flour on it. It's just not my thing really. So I always recommend the Pam, and they do because they come right out. So we're gonna do my favorite thing. So we're gonna cream the butters, sugars, and vanilla extract together for 1 to 2 minutes. Now you guys all know this is my favorite thing to do, right? So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna pull my butter. I use Kerrygold this week, so we're getting fancy, okay? It's been a few weeks. I thought I'd like kick it up and be a little fancy for you all. So, and then we're gonna do my sugar. I love these little prep plates. These are my fave. These are Crate and Barrel too. And then vanilla. You know, the person that sets this all up for me has learned that not to put the spoons to measure the vanilla because I don't do it anyways. So we're at a teaspoon of vanilla extract, so that's probably what, about that? And then we never do that, so we're gonna do that, okay. So we're gonna cream all this together, right? And I'm missing my powdered sugar. This is the one. So a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1/3 cup of powdered sugar, teaspoon of vanilla extract with a little extra love on the vanilla, right? Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna cream these guys together. Do you guys want to hear like the saddest thing, like for myself, because I love to bake? I just baked for myself for the first time this weekend in like 8 weeks. Yeah, it's been rough. So but they were jam, and I made awesome chocolate chip cookies just to make them. And then I brought them to the office, everybody ate them. And, but they were delicious. And I'm like, you know what, I gotta like, it's just, guys, it was the struggle bus for a while, but I'm back, which is great. And I think we're gonna have lots of productive sessions. How many times a month are we gonna do these, Kylie? What do we say? Do you remember? We haven't decided yet? We haven't decided, but we're gonna do them. We're gonna do it in a realistic amount of times a month. It's not gonna be weekly anymore. Just summer's here, we don't usually do them weekly anyways, but we're gonna do the pasta thing with you guys, and I'm gonna pair it with cookies. And I'm telling you, you guys gotta try this pasta. It's absolutely delicious. I was eating it actually before we got on, so, and Kylie's eyeing it as if it's gonna be her dinner, so that's good. All right, so we're gonna cream the sugars together and the butter, fine. We're gonna add in the flour and mix it just until it's combined. Now, you guys know how I feel about that, right? You gotta listen to the when it says mix till just combined, but you can still mix it in the mixer. Just don't like walk away and leave it for a million years, right? You gotta make sure you're like paying attention to it and addressing it. So let me just grab my, and you always, guys, you never are able, when you're making my cookies, you're never allowed to not scrape down the sides, okay? You gotta scrape them down. If you don't scrape down the sides, you're missing out. So always scrape down the sides at least once. This butter is awesome. It's so much better than the like Land O'Lakes butter. We're getting fancy, we're getting fancy. Okay, so let that like kind of like, there we go. I didn't put the flour in yet, guys. We're just still doing we're like finishing the creaming process right now. You want it to get super fluffy, which it is doing now. Now turn it down for our flour mixture because clearly, you know, like it's gonna create a mess if you don't. I'm just giving it a second. Sorry, guys. It's funny because they have you add the almond extract after the flour, which is strange, but that's fine. It's not something I've seen before, but I guess, guys, they taste great, so it's fine. We're gonna do a teaspoon of the almond extract, and then a little extra because we like it, right? Okay. All right. Guys, I'm telling you, these are the easiest cookies in the world. And when they're cooking, so they cook for 18 minutes, not the whole time, but for some of the cooking time, we're gonna do some DUI stuff because y'all should know what goes into it. And again, this is the weekend where we see a lot of DUIs, unfortunately, with parties, and you do not wanna be on the other end of one of these cases. Okay, so again, just mixed, right? We talked about that, so here you are. And this dough is super easy, guys, too, to deal with. So it's not sticky. You're good otherwise. Okay, so we're going to take it all out. See, it doesn't even stick to your hands. It's awesome. It smells so good. It smells like almonds. Okay, so what you're going to do, since we've already greased them, right, you're going to spoon 1/2 to 1 tablespoon. Just put it in. Excuse me, you're going to scoop about a quarter cup into each muffin well. Then we're going to take the raspberry preserves, 1.5 to a tablespoon, and put those in the middle. So let's first, a quarter cup. So you got to eye it, okay? This is probably about, it smells so good. This is probably about a quarter cup. You're going to press it into the bottom and press it up the sides a little, okay? So watch. So you always want to start smaller than you need. You don't want it super thick, by the way, and you want to create these little wells, okay? And if you need a little more, this dough is super malleable. You can just throw it in. You won't see this part of the cookie, so it's fine. And then you just want to like get it up and around. And you don't want a super big well either. You just want to make it just big enough so that you can form it in here. And then it sits. And then it's as pretty as you can. Don't stress. Okay. Now you're going to take 1.5 to a tablespoon of raspberry preserves and put it into the center of each. I love raspberry, so I don't believe in listening to what they say. I think we put as much as we can fit. That's how we're going to do it. That's probably as much as we can fit. Perfect. And then what you do is you sprinkle each tartlet with the leftover mixture. It's a tablespoon of the crumble topping, but we'll give it a minute. Let's put the other ones in here. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm going to talk to you guys about DUIs, okay? So I get this question all the time. I'm not a criminal attorney, by the way. We all know that. But I get this question all the time. Is it true that people, if they only get 1 DUI, get off scot-free? No. Okay? Now, number one, it also depends on, now I'm going to tell you what I mean by that answer. It also depends on what happens. Like, did they hurt somebody? Did they not? For all of us, we get something called an AR. An AR is accelerated rehabilitation. So if if you have to use your AR, most people do, on the drunk driving, basically after you complete, I mean, obviously the court has to approve it, but after you complete a series of, of classes, testing, whatever the case may be, you pay hefty fines, you get a lawyer. Then what will potentially happen, is that you will be, the crime will go off your record, okay? But then again, it depends on person to person, case by case. I tell people you shouldn't even be asking the question because it's not something you should even be considering, okay? But to answer the question, because I get this question a lot, the answer is yes, there is something called AR. Now, do I care on the civil side about AR? Not even a little bit. So why? What does that mean? Well, whether you've done it before or not doesn't really faze me. If you do it once and you hurt my client, you're in trouble, okay? So, and I don't care. I don't care if you don't have enough insurance, because here's the deal. Your insurance company is going to come in and they're going to say, we don't cover whatever the punitive damages are. What are punitive? Well, you have economic, non-economic damages, right? That's pain and suffering, that kind of stuff. But then there's damages called punitive damages. Punitive is another word for punishment, right? So any damages you get hit with because of your behavior, the insurance company is going to tell you they're not going to pay for because they're not on the hook for it. Do they pay it? Most of the time, yeah. But they're going to tell you, and they don't have to, so you don't want to be the one time that they decide to roll the dice and not. Okay, so what happens is you have now this big old problem with, you've hurt somebody, you were drunk, you have to now pay $5,000 to a lawyer and whatever else, and now you have to get my letter in the mail, and then your insurance company is going to send you a letter saying, we're not going to cover you for the drunk part of this. And trust me, guys, if you're drunk driving, guess what happens to my client's claims just because you're drunk? Guess what it does to the value of my client's claim? Go. Guess. Does anybody remember? I haven't covered this one in a while. So it makes double, treble damages. So what happens is, just because you were drunk, my client can be awarded double or triple the value of the case. So if the case is worth $20,000, now my client can get 40 or 60 just because you were drunk as a punishment to you. It's really messed up, guys. It's really bad, pretty bad. You don't want to be on the other end of that. So how do you solve this problem? Don't drink and drive, right? Now, if many people decide to take off, so right now I'm just sprinkling some of the top on there. Some people decide to take off from the scene of the accident. They get scared. Oh my gosh, I'm drunk. Maybe I'll go home and sober up before they realize it was me, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it works. Not often, guys. Too many people have Ring cameras and stuff. It doesn't work like that anymore. So they'll find you, and then you're going to get hit with evasion, which is another $1,500 to your lawyer, and it looks really bad. It helps me and my client, but it looks really bad. So I would not get involved in that either. I would sit back, own what you did, and if it's your first offense, obviously criminally, I mean, you're in the hands of the criminal court. But as far as my clients go, if you injure my client, it's not going to matter if it's your first offense or your 10th offense. You're going to get sued. And if I find out who you are after you leave the scene of the accident, it's going to get really ugly. It's going to get ugly for you, your family, the whole thing. So just don't do it. Just stick around. Obviously, we get the information. We get the insurance information. We go from there. Now, take this into account, people, for anybody. Memorial Day weekend is here. Let's say you let somebody take your car, mom, dad, whatever, and that person's drinking. Guess who we sue first? We sue the insurance company for the car. So if somebody is driving your vehicle and they're drunk, we go after you first because you go to the car. Sorry, but that's the way it goes. So how do you solve the problem? Don't give your car to somebody that drives drunk, but also just don't drive drunk. Now, guys, there are Ubers, there are taxis, there are Lyfts, there are all these things. There are rides home from friends that are sober. There are all these things that you can do to protect yourself and your family. That one bad decision is going to be real bad. And I'm telling you, I deal with it every day. The one thing when I talk to these people that cause these accidents, they say to me is, if I could just take it back for 5 seconds, but you can't. Once it's done, it's done. So don't let it be done, right? Like, be smart, make better decisions, think about yourself, think about your future. You don't want this on your record. And like I said, my clients get double, treble damages. And if you don't have enough insurance or you don't have any insurance, I'm going to attach your wages. I'm going to attach your properties. Your insurance company is going to fight with me, night and day. You're going to think I'm the worst person in the world. But all I'm doing is zealously advocating for my client because they were injured because of your bad decisions. So And again, they're handled similarly to any car accident claim, except that you have this extra component, which makes it a hell of a lot more valuable. Okay? So that's my spiel.
Maybe wants to know if the umbrella policy covers any of that.
The umbrella policy is going to cover liability, but they're not going to cover the punitive part of the case. This is why you should lean on your insurance company and say, insurance company, pay these people out. This Goff chick is a nightmare. Pay her and her clients out, because if the punitive element, if you go to trial and the jury says this much in punitive, this much in other damages, you have exposure. So an umbrella can't save you from that. An umbrella doesn't give you punitive, but umbrella will give you additional coverage. So if you cause an accident from being drunk and you really hurt somebody, they'll cover you. You just really need to lean on your insurance company and tell them, you better settle this thing because I don't want to go to court. Any other questions? Okay. I'm going to show you guys what the cookies look like because they're awesome. So here, I'm just going to walk over there. Who cares? I usually just hold them up. I don't care anymore. All right, so here we go. Am I too big on the screen? Way too big? How's that? Can you adjust that? Good? So here we go. So the well from what we built it, right? And then here's the jam inside and the crumble topping. Guys, I'm telling you, these are legit. They are fantastic. So make them. I want to see the pasta. I can hold the pasta up too. We're like getting fancy around here now. And I hope you guys learned a little bit about why drunk driving is a bad idea. We all know, but you need to be reminded. So there you go. Here's our pasta. Look how great. Oh, am I too close? Here. Look how great that looks. It's so good. You get a ton of it too. This isn't even all of it. There's a whole nother helping like this. And it's delicious, and it takes like literally 10 minutes from stove to table. So here you go. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. I appreciate your patience these last few weeks. I'm back, so that's the great news. And I'm ready to bake. I'm ready to kick some butt. we are busier than ever, and I'm in the office every single day. So you want to come see me, come say hi, whatever the case might be. I'm happy to meet you all. I'm happy to talk to you. We have tons of new contests coming. We have a new commercial coming. Football season's coming. You know I'm all about that. And my Jets this year. How about my Jets? They are going to be a force to be reckoned with. So we might be, the prizes are only going to get better if the Jets win. So you might want to call whoever you need to call and tell them to win. What do you got?
Somebody said, what happens if a person hits you and doesn't work or have any money?
What happens if a person hits you? You know, that's a really great question. You have your own insurance, UM. I don't see that a lot. I'm telling you, it's the funniest thing. I don't see it a lot. Usually people that drive drunk have assets. It's the strangest thing. Maybe you have to afford the alcohol. I don't know, but it's the strangest thing. But it does happen, and if it does, you have uninsured motorist coverage under your policy. They'll cover you, which is another reason why you guys have to protect yourselves. Instead of just always worrying about everybody else, protect yourself and get proper uninsured, underinsured motorist limits so that if somebody hits you in that fact pattern, you can collect from your own insurance. Good? Guys, take it easy. Obviously, any new cases you have questions about, personal injury, car accidents, slip and falls, workers' comp, whatever it is, call us. Let us answer your questions. We're around 24/7. You'll always get a lawyer. I'm in the office every day. Stop in and see me. We can be reached 203. Can you believe it? 203. I almost said the fax number. 203-399-0000 extension 1. You can obviously, I guess, fax us, but don't. You could email us at brooke, BROOKE, @gofflawgroup.net. Or stop in 433 South Main Street, Suite 328 in West Hartford. We have a huge office edition that's going to be going on. We always have goodies in the office. I'm always cooking goodies, especially these days. So come in, come hang, ask questions, feel our vibe, feel our culture. And even if you don't have an accident, chances are you're probably going to have one eventually down the road. Hopefully you're not too hurt, but if you are, hopefully we're your call. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your evening.